What's up guys, Baker here. I got an awesome tutorial called the scope rings that everyone's been asking for. And while you're waiting, just go ahead and do me a quick favor. Just scroll down about 2 inches and click that like button. Just right about now. Ready? Boom! Click it. Yeah. Alright, cool. Alright, so I've seen a couple tutorials and they use like stroke and stuff, which is kind of cool, but it wasn't really the way I did it. Here's just a quick example of what it looks like. And what I really like about this is the twister's not so slow that it's not moving, so it actually looks like it's motion tracked, kind of like moving. And another thing is, if you look closely, look at the light on the scope. You can actually see that the light goes, it's kind of hard to see, but you'll see it later. Light goes on the scope and it kind of glows the parts of the gun, which makes it look even more realistic, and I think it's just pretty awesome. So let's go ahead and try to get into it. It won't be super noob friendly, kind of. Hopefully most of you can get through all this, but you want to use a clip typically where he's reloading, because it's kind of on the side. I just think it looks the best that way, as opposed to being straight, because you can't really tell the depth and you can't see any glows on the gun and stuff. So look for a shot that's kind of like this. Twixter did about 1% speed. I know it's kind of warpy because he's falling down, which is not good for editors. But anyways, here's what I did. We'll go ahead and first just make a new solid. We'll make this custom size, 720 by 720. We'll call this ring number 1. Okay. And we'll go ahead and go to our rectangle tool, hold and get our ellipse tool, double click, gets a circle. Go down to your mask, click on it, and Command or Control D to duplicate. Second mask is now subtract, and then change the expansion negative, so we just get like a cool ring. Let's do negative 60 for now. Alright, cool. So we'll also add a fill to our layer, just so we can pick our own color. And I'm going to pick, and you'll see why in a bit, just a regular kind of blue, but not all the way at the top, kind of in this corner. Because when we're going to set this to add, we want this to be somewhat see-through, as opposed to all the way up where it's like, can't see through. So, just in that area. Alright, what should I do next? Let's go ahead and duplicate the ring, push P, and, oh, we gotta make these 3D, by the way. That's another thing. These are actually 3D layers with a camera and everything, so that they actually look like they are tilted and in line with the gun, as opposed to that stroke I saw. It just looked too flat to me, you know? So we're gonna make this, try to make this as realistic as possible. Alright, so we take this second ring, call it ring 2 real quick, and push it back into Z space, maybe 100 pixels for right now. Okay? And we'll also make a new camera, and 35mm should be okay. Click OK. Now we're just going to use the camera tools to position it, rather than changing the ring positions. So we'll go up here, and we'll go orbit camera tool, and kind of just rotate it so it's kind of in that direction. Another thing real quick, we'll scale these rings down, push S for scale. I'm like all over the place, huh? Move it down to like 50% for each, maybe 40% for right now. Okay, so now we'll go to track X and Y and just kind of position it over, and that looks okay. They look a little bit too spread out, so go to ring 2, bring it in to maybe 50 pixels. Looks pretty good, and just try to line it up just so it looks like it is you know, in the direction that it should be. So kind of mess with the rotation a little bit trial and error. And we want to make this when the Twixter starts. So if you look at the Twixter, start right here. Okay, so make sure it's all positioned how you like it. Go to the camera, push P, hold Shift, and push A. So we get position and point of interest, keyframe both of those. and go to the end so your gun is kind of moving, and just try to slightly correct it. So maybe rotate it just slightly bit more, and go to the track XY, move it just a little bit back. So if we try to scrub through this, it looks like it's moving with the gun, and if we need to make adjustments, we can later. Okay, so that's good for now. Next thing, I want to sort of cut out the ring so it looks like it's behind the gun. And if you see my track mat tutorial, we can do this pretty easily. And I would suggest looking that up because it is quite amazing. So we'll turn off one of the rings, and we'll look at ring 1 for right now. And we'll go to full res. And we'll also go to 100% and scoot it over here so we can take a look. We're going to make a new solid. Oops. New solid. Make it comp size. Call this mat 1 if we're doing ring 1. Scoot that over. Okay. So we're going to turn it off, put it right above ring 1. Take our pen tool, make sure the mat is selected. When the Twixtor starts, we're going to draw where the gun needs to cut off the ring. So I'll start about here. Just draw across like this, and go around, and boom, 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 boom. Alright, push M on the matte layer to get the mask path keyframe, move to the end, and just fix a couple of the points so it fits the gun again. Make sure your mask doesn't go into the ring over here. So make sure you just kind of scoot those over. And let's take a quick scrub through to make sure everything's alright. And it's okay for right now. We'll change it if we need to. But here we go. You ready? On the ring 1, toggle your switch in modes so you get your transfer modes and your track mat. Track mat, alpha inverted, boom, cut off. Now it's a little sharp, so on the track mat we'll push F, feather about 3 pixels, and you can kind of see it's slightly feathered right there. So I'm going to quickly do that for the ring 2. So turn off ring 1, ring 2. I can actually duplicate the matte layer, put it above here, push M, take off that mask. Sorry if I'm going fast, but hopefully most of you should know what I'm doing if you have been with me for a while. So on that matte layer, the new matte layer, pen tool, and just draw out what needs to be cut off, and just kind of go around here. Boom, 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 boom. Push M on the new matte layer, keyframe, move to the end, and we will go ahead and fix these points really quick. I do not know how I'm doing on time, so I won't even really care about that, so hopefully you guys can stick with me. And again, ring 2, track mat, alpha inverted, boom, and feather the mask about 3 pixels. Alright, turn the other ring on, and let's take a quick look how this looks. Turn this down to quarter real quick. So it goes in, and it looks like it's pretty close to being motion tracked. The mask looks a little bit off at the end. We can always fix that later. But you can see how it's slightly see-through. That's what I'm going for. So that's what I did with that fill color. Looks good. But we're gonna add some glow to it. Search up glow. Put that on the ring. And all we're gonna do is change the radius to 50. So it makes it really nice and glowy, makes it pop. Same thing with the other ring. And 50 for the radius. And that's good. Now let me quickly animate these on because we don't want them just flying around in the middle of the clip, right? So right when the Twixtor starts, right about here, I am going to use just a simple radial wipe. So yeah, that's all it is. Radial wipe on we'll start with ring 2. And actually we'll do that for both at the same time. So ring 2, we'll go to radial wipe. Let me close all these out. And we're just gonna check what this looks like. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go this way. So we'll start it at 100, keyframe, go to ring 1, and also do the same thing, transition, completion, keyframe at 100. We'll push U, and we'll push U on the rings. So let me try to close all these out. It looks kind of messy, huh? Yeah. Alright, so we got these 2 keyframes. We'll move forward. We want this to be somewhat fast, so maybe about a second, full second. Keyframe these down to 0. So these are good, and they would go on. Yeah, sorry about that. Anyways, alright, so now we're going to make this even a little bit more realistic. What I actually did to make this realistic glow is just duplicate one of the rings, and we'll call this ring glow scope, if you want. Yeah. So we're going to keep the fill, we're going to keep the glow, we're going to keep the radial wipe, except the only thing we're going to change is push U for the radial wipe. When it goes all the way down to the bottom, right about here, set a keyframe for the radial wipe on the glow scope. Keyframe, delete the last one. Okay, so we can't see it because it's on another layer, so we'll scale this down, kind of see it, until it fits the size of that scope. You see that? Just like that. And we're going to blur it out with the Gaussian blur. And we're going to put this, yeah, we'll just put it after the wipe. And we'll blur it out to 400, I think I used. Okay, so do you kind of see it? Maybe I can unsolo these. So you can kind of see the glow follows the scope right here as the rings come out, which makes it look like it's actually glowing part of your scope and just makes it look that more realistic. And there's one more glow I used on the actual gun, and this was just a simple 2D layer. So we'll make a new solid, and we'll call this glow on the gun if you want. And we need to copy that same fill, the same color, this blue. Copy, paste, so we get that blue. Turn it off right now. Go back to the beginning, and we'll just take our pen tool here and just mask out what you think would be on the top of the gun that would get glowed. So maybe a little bit of this, go around here, just kind of draw just a little bit. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be blurred out anyway. We're going to push M, keyframe, move towards the end, and then just kind of fix the points. So we can double click, slide this over, and that'll be good for right now. I don't really want to fix too much of it. So we get this fatty piece of color right here, and it's not looking good. So we're going to set it to add, and we can add a glow to it. Add a glow, just make it a quick, I don't know, 25 pixel or something. And yeah, need to blur it out as well. Blur. Actually, let's go to the mask and just feather it. So we'll feather this quite a bit, maybe 50. Seems a bit much, but we're going to turn down the opacity. So we want this to be quite subtle, just like the one up here. So we'll start at 20%, see how that looks. Scrubbing through here. And same thing here. We want this to turn on when the rings get close. So we don't want it to be on right now. So right about halfway, right about here, we'll set a keyframe for the opacity down to 0. Then when it gets all the way at the bottom where it's close, we'll turn this up to that 20 that we liked. Alright. So let me take a quick look. Glows down there. And alright. So here's a quick recap. We made the rings in 3D space. We made a 3D camera. That way, by the way, we can move the rings and it'll stay along that axis because we rotated it correctly. So we don't have to worry about the position of the rings too much. We can make this go shoot out like, or I mean, hold on, like shooting lasers or something. That's an interesting effect. Maybe I should use that. Okay. Anyways, so we made a little extra ring to make the scope glow and the bottom glow. The cool thing about the track mats is that little cutoff thing. We can move the ring up and down, and it'll still stay like it's, you know, cut off in between everything. So that's pretty cool. So if you're interested in track mats, I have a track mat tutorial. Very interesting, very helpful. I would check that out. But this is my scope rings tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot of cool tricks to make things look more real and not too flat. Things like that. Glows and realistic shadows and everything. And I just think this was really awesome, really fun. So if you enjoyed any of it, go ahead and like, comments, favorite would be nice, share it or something. I made a fan page on Facebook. Like me on Facebook. We'll talk on there. Anything. Let's be awesome together and stuff. Alright, I'm done with that. Alright, okay, bye.